Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do.
So, Henry, it's hard to know where to start. The mass amount of financial destruction you've caused with your Ponzi scheme has shocked the public, the nation, and the world ever since you confessed to this outrageous crime. As an investment advisor in your well-respected business, Henry Securities LLC, your investors are crippled by your greed and your ethical misbehavior. So let's begin by answering the question everyone wants answered. How'd you do it, Henry?
Obviously, one must be ingenious to pull off such a feat. Extraordinary, if you will. It began in the early 1990s. So your money's going to be in good hands. The investment strategy that I've engineered, I like to call it the split strike conversion strategy. Pretty much, it's practically guaranteed money in your pocket. A conservative estimate by me would be you'd get a return of at least 1% a month.
Whoa, 1% a month? Now we're talking. That's hard to turn down, Henry.
I like to think of it as the thrill of counting cards at the Bellagio, but easier. So, how much were you willing to invest? The more you invest, the richer you will become.
I think I could go 100 million. It's probably the most I could spare right now.
100 million would actually work pretty well. That's a nice round number. So, just wire me the money as soon as you can, okay?
Will do.
Thanks, bye. Come on. Do you accept the money transfer? Yes. Let's move it over here. Are you sure you want to deposit 100 million in Henry's Chase Manhattan bank account? Of course, I worked really hard for this. What's this? Are you sure this is an ethical decision? What kind of computer is this? So, as I gain new investors, I just continue to pay off the current investors with the money the new investors are paying me. Did I lie, cheat, steal? All of the above. Yes, the investors are happy. They were receiving their monthly returns, and most importantly, I was benefiting. Just like Thomas Hobbes, I am a proponent of self-interest.
That's not how he meant it, Henry.
Everything wasn't always perfect, though. The larger the scheme grew, the more I began to realize how easily this whole thing could spiral out of control. And after a while, I became scared. The unknown and the uncertainty of how things would unravel just started to really weigh down on me. Anybody have a tissue? Oh, wait. It's a bug. So 2008 came around, the subprime lending crisis was in full swing, and new investors are hard to come by. Nobody had any free capital. And it was then, near the end, when I began to realize and regret my actions. And my fundamental flaw, things had to go bad first before I realized the risk I put everyone at.
Henry, you misguided many people with your puppet master personality. How is it that no one knew or suspected what you were doing?
Everybody just thought I was good at my job. I had earned a great reputation among the financial community, and so people never really thought that I would be able to, or that I guess would, do something like this.
How would you define success, in your opinion?
Well, I guess I would define success as working hard at something and not stopping until you finish it.
But you didn't finish what you started, did you?
Well, obviously not. I mean, when I began this thing, I didn't have a set endpoint. How could you do something like that?
Right. So, you committed this scheme for almost 18 years. How did you go through so many years without telling absolutely anyone?
Well, it was a slippery slope, of course. I knew what I was doing was illegal. But I just got caught up in trying to fulfill my customers' expectations.
Did you ever think about confessing to anyone about the fraud you were committing?
Oh, yeah, I mean, it weighed down on me, you know. There's some nights where I couldn't sleep. But to be honest, some days I didn't even think about it. It's not as if I was seeing my investors on a weekly or daily basis. You know, I wasn't even calling them. But after a while, somebody did start to catch on what I was doing. There's a guy named William. He was an employee at one of my rival investment firms.
Look, you and I both know that consistently earning 1% per month in today's markets is nearly impossible. I mean, all signs suggest that Henry must be involved in some kind of illegal dealing, and you have a duty to investigate. If I had a bet, I'd bet it's a Ponzi scheme.
Are you sure you could do something this unethical?
Yes. I mean, don't you understand what I've given you? Stop being skeptical about me and use some professional skepticism when looking at Henry's numbers. Surely you've been trained to spot the issue. I mean, I'm putting the issue on your desk. Now spot it.
Yeah, okay. We'll look into it. And I'll give you a call in 2 or 3 months.
This is useless.
Hey, Diane. Yeah, before you ran out and grabbed my lunch, I have a quick question. Do you remember the name of the young man that we hired about 2 or 3 weeks ago? Yeah, we got him just out of law school. Yes, Tom. I have something perfect for him.
It probably sounded ridiculous to him. Or, more likely, they probably just weren't smart enough to keep up with what I was doing. So rather than digging deeper and deeper into William's claims, they probably just brushed it off. I mean, you can't blame them for doing that.
So when the SEC did finally investigate 6 years later, 6 years after William was pestering them, did you in fact give false testimony under oath to continue the cover-up?
Yeah, I did.
And my last question for you, Henry. How did your friends and family react when they found out what you were doing?
Somebody please say something.
So how much money are we talking? 10 million? 20 million?
Well, I have 50 billion in liabilities.
He said 50 million. Million with an M?
With a B.
I mean, Dad, did you just expect us to be okay with the fact that our whole lives have been a lie? You think we would just let that go?
I'm going to jail. But on the plus side, I was always working, so it's not like your daily lives are going to change.
Well, that solves our biggest problem now, doesn't it?
Well, wait, I mean, Mom, if we lose all our money, who's going to buy my next mansion? I mean, yeah, stealing may be wrong, but we got to think about how this is going to affect our lives.
Son, we have to stay positive. Worst case scenario, we downgrade from the Billionaires Club to the Millionaires Club. That's not so bad.
Mom, you're starting to scare me with this talk of the Millionaires Club. There's no reason to bring up a dump like that.
I'm sorry, but sacrifices have to be made. Because your father dropped the ball.
Well, excuse me for trying to provide for my family.
You turned us into thieves. No one will think the same way about our family.
Yeah, and more importantly, we're poor.
Dad, how could you do this to us? How are we supposed to live with this shame?
You know, I thought my family would be more understanding, all right? I've been living with this life for years. The amount of work I put into this and all to better our lives, think about that for a minute. Think about what I went through for you, my family.
And how could you not tell us? For all those years?
I'm telling you now, aren't I?
So where do we go from here?
He's definitely going to jail without bail until he dies.
Well, that has been established. What I meant was, what are we going to have to sell?
Oh, sell. I mean, what, are you saying we're going to have to sell all the houses, all 20 of them? And our yacht, too?
It's all gonna have to go.
No.
Your mother's jewelry, too.
No, not my new ring. Not my 40-carat diamond ring. How can I live on the Upper East Side without diamonds?
Great Dad, this entire time you had us believing that everything you made, you earned honestly. Instead, you were stealing like a common thief.
What do you want me to say? I've said I'm sorry, and I'm going to jail to serve my time. I don't know what else you want me to do.
I want you to never speak to me again.
I mean, what, was it worth it? I mean, was it worth us losing everything?
No, it wasn't.